What's going on, Summoners? Welcome back to another ProGuides Wild Rift video. Today we got 5 overpowered picks specifically for higher ELOs. These picks, when utilized to their fullest, yield fantastic results, allowing whoever's playing them to completely take over the game. From ferocious junglers, burst damage carries, and even objective securing mages, these are the top picks for Emerald and higher. But before we begin, we got a question of the day. 2 of the biggest issues in Wild Rift have already been fixed, with role selection and bans being introduced, and these are both direct responses to the community's concerns, so it seems like being vocal is working. So in light of that, what other concerns would you like addressed in Wild Rift? Whether it's champion balance, system changes, whatever you got a problem with, let us know in the comments below, and let's get into the video. Alright, let's dive right into it with our first pick of the day, Twisted Fate. Now this pick is something that we consider sleeper OP, with a vast array of tools in his kit to successfully navigate the battlefield. TF's pick a card allows him to choose one of 3 different abilities, allowing him to adjust priorities at all times. Blue card deals more damage, red card slows a group of enemies, and the strongest card of all, yellow, will stun the target. Understanding when and how to use each card distinguishes the amateur duelists from the king of games. After all, players will need to rely on skill and not just the heart of the cards. In addition, Twisted Fate grants him the ability to teleport across the map while revealing enemy units. This is by far the most useful part of his kit. Now, if you use this skill without much thought, it's practically useless, providing no damage or crowd control. But high elo players understand the value of TF's vision, allowing TF to guide the entire team towards a favorable fight. Of course, such a feat isn't feasible without a firm understanding of the game, making him a fantastic pick in the higher ELOs. So for those of you looking to climb even higher and push your growth as a player, definitely try out Twisted Fate. Now the next pick up is Katarina, and let's be honest, we're all probably sick of seeing this champ. She got a lot of nerfs on this patch and definitely isn't as overpowered as she once was, but when a Katarina pops off, there's sometimes very little that you can really do about it, especially if the Katarina knows what they're doing. If they're keeping track of opposing cooldowns and positioning correctly, during the moments that Katarina pops off, the amount of burst damage and sheer amount of speed that they can traverse the map is pretty broken. Most champions in the game cannot even begin to mimic the amount of damage or speed that you have. Of course, this doesn't mean that there's no counterplay to Katarina. In fact, if your team has a lot of crowd control and a beefy front line, you can actually shut a Katarina down pretty easily. But as we all know, solo queue, that rarely happens, so we still recommend abusing her in ranked. You will absolutely have moments you can pop off. Now before we move on to the next pick, I want to remind everybody to join our community Discord through the link in the description down below. We got tons of players just like you who love talking about the game and their experiences, so come join the fam. Now our third pick for today is Draven for the duo lane. The axe-trucking executioner excels in the hands of a master capable of taking the tides of the game in his own hands. Once Draven acquires a lead, he runs down the enemy team, dealing way too much damage for anybody to handle. The key to mastering this pick is to not throw your lead while still capitalizing on the enemy's openings. If you're able to do that, Draven's passive grants him bonus gold upon champion execution, allowing him to purchase items at a much accelerated rate. And since each of his spinning axes deals more damage for each individual auto than practically any other AD carry in the game, the Draven pick is strong. For those of you who are confident in your skills and looking to earn some free LP, definitely give Draven a try.
steps as I'm running the corners, waiting for the wave to take me across all the borders, riding like the wind, going down without warning. Just ain't enough for me. All the stuff that we've done has been hasted. So many times my trust has been tainted. Line up excuses, it's all overrated. It leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth. What are you waiting for? Get up and get it done. What are you waiting for?
Oh, and as a side note, if you need some help getting better at the AD carry role, make sure to check out our Challenger AD carry guide going over exactly that. Now, second to last, we have Ziggs in the mid lane. The aggressively explosive Yordle functions as a stalling caster mage, spamming unbearably strong bombs at the enemy. Since the range of his abilities are generously long, Ziggs can stand pretty far back and still impact teamfights from a comfortable distance. This creates a very annoying play circumstance for the enemy team, since the bombs that Ziggs throws can be used to contest key objectives. This makes him the perfect mid laner to capitalize on dragons and barons. The pace of Wild Rift can be really fast, so many of the players in Wild Rift are very impatient. By abusing this characteristic, Ziggs easily chunks down off-guard enemies by bombarding them with area of effect skill shots. This often results in favorable teamfight situations, which eventually leads to a win. If you're looking for a cold, calculated, and explosive mid lane champion to play, try out Ziggs.
Save me from myself. Save me from myself. I want you to tear me down and build me up again. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. We don't belong together, so I bother. When I surrender to being useless, I am unable to breathe. I can't make out what is real or fancy. No waking up from this dream. I want you to save me from myself.
And for our last pick of the day, we have the infamous kitty cat Rengar in the jungle. The AD assassin destroys squishy targets, creating a very abysmal playing condition for his enemy AD carries. After all, if Rengar players understand how to maximize their damage, they can instantly 100-0 any juicy marksman, with little to no real counterplay. Oftentimes, the AD carry's only course of action is to just straight up avoid Rengar and fight elsewhere, which is a huge advantage for the Rengar player, seeing as AD carry presence is essential for big team fights. This allows Rengar to create a void in the enemy team's coordination, and most players lack the game knowledge to effectively counter the pick. Once Rengar becomes strong, everyone on the enemy team clenches their butts when the Apex Hunter pops his ult.
Wash me now in the blood of the Lamb and the Holy. Let me go to hell and cleanse my fucked up mind. Let's embrace the sunrise and the sunset and the time between them. Let us stay forever young and never die.
Now, another reminder that this list was built specifically with higher ELOs in mind, which we consider Emerald and higher. Each of these champions have different learning curves alongside strengths that, when mastered, are sure to yield fantastic results for your ranked games. So if you learned anything or just enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button and sub to the channel so you don't miss our future uploads. Also, don't forget to answer our question of the day in the comments below, and also check out our community Discord through the link in the description. That's it for today, so best of luck on the Rift, everybody. Stay hydrated, and I'll see you next time.